So some further thoughts on making a software development company. I guess the smart thing to do would be to incorporate it in a tax-friendly location. I mean for the regular one, not the nonprofit. Because some of the ideas I have would actually be profitable. And if you look at what software would work for making money, I think a new social networking platform that everybody was verified, they could use one pseudonym, perhaps more than one, because people want to write about things that they may not want to be associated with their real identity. So, I think that they should all be pseudonyms. I don't think anybody should use their legal name on the site. There's just no reason for people to know your legal name. But you would have one primary general account, and then you might have one that was more private. Perhaps, for example, you want to keep your sexuality private, and you don't want to talk about that and have it be associated with your other stuff. That would make some sense. And the thing about software, not as a product that you just sell as one unit to somebody, but rather software as a service, you could charge people for having a social media account or their accounts. And perhaps if you're producing enough value on it, you actually get a discount. And, could people write things that then they would sell on that platform to other users? Maybe. I don't know. I don't see why not. If they want to write an ebook or something, or a training course. So you'd have to set up, first you want to spec it, right? Do a really good job on the specification. But the companies I've worked for, the spec often changes over time. Because, you think of features to add, very dangerous, but, you're going to think of them. And then you mock up the UI. And then you go into a rapid development cycle. You test the spec, looking for problems and opportunities. God, I'm walking in town with 4 fucking dogs. One of whom isn't really even my dog. That dog doesn't even have a name. I should probably name that dog. He's been hanging around me for like 2 years, but I can't even touch him. Luckily he's not female, so he's not going to have puppies. But I want all my dogs to be sterilized. I like that idea very much. Making a new social media site. If you didn't host videos, then that would lower your costs considerably because you'd have to store those videos, right? On the other hand, if people were only producing high value quality videos, not just junk, then it might be worth it. And they could put those on regular commercial channels as well. I can think of that having immediate benefit. You need a bug database. You need a code repository so people can check out code and work on it and check it back in. And I'd rather not do them as open source because they have stuff like GitHub right now. But some of it, you might be writing some code that was unique and you don't want to share with everybody. So I guess you could decide to do some of them as fully open source, which would also make any developer in the world able to work on it. So that would be very impressive. And I guess it'd be case by case what you do. And some of the software ideas could actually make a huge amount of money. And that would be, very motivational for some types of people. Um, so you got developers, testers. Your need for a program manager gets reduced. I mean, I've always worked with program managers, and I've been a program manager. And I guess we'd still need them, but if the project is really defined well enough, and who else do you really need? You need legal, so you need to have a lawyer for whatever happens. And you could try and piggyback off open source material whenever you can. That would be ideal. And then customize it. I think the licensing on some open source stuff says that you have to make your product be open source also. So you wouldn't be able to suck up the code and then own it. I think. Not really sure how that works. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking like Creative Commons, where you can use Creative Commons stuff, and some Creative Commons stuff allows for commercial use and some doesn't. But, I mean, there's other ways to run things. Like there's a program I had when I was in college. It was called PC Write, and I actually met the guy who wrote it because I was buying some costumes from his wife. And PC Write was really cool because you could register it and then give it away, and anybody who bought it, I never did buy a copy. The software was free, but if you bought a copy, I think you would get a support manual. You could do it also as freemium, where you get to use the basic product for free, and then you get extra features if you pay. That would be a great way to go, actually, even for the social media site, where you get certain features only if you pay. Anyway, PC Write was great. In fact, I should have registered it a long time ago. I don't know even know if the product still exists. It was a word processing software before Word existed and before a lot of other stuff. This was back, I think, before Windows. So, but that was a really great way to go because somebody registers it, and I should have registered it because I gave away a ton of that program. I was in a perfect position to do so. I was teaching computer stuff to people, and I could have just spread my registered copy as wide and far as possible. And I don't know if I'd have made any money, but probably. And I really liked the product anyway. It was a great product and seemed like a really nice guy. So there are other models of releasing things that might be more innovative and useful. Some of the project management software that's out there, I was looking at one the other day and I forgot the name of it. But that would be handy. But I also don't like other people looking at stuff. I'm pretty privacy oriented. And so I have projects I'd want to do that I don't want anyone else to see. But they're complex enough that I need to have it be organized. So, I don't know. But the cool thing is that people could come up with an idea and say, well, I think I'm going to need this many people. They would be choosing the people they want to work with. And they would have the contract so that they're all going to profit off of it with a certain percentage share that they own. And I think only have people able to invest in it if they're working on it, because then you've got a very, very motivated team. This tree is going to fall down right here on this road. It would fall right on me. In fact, I didn't want to stand right here. So you wouldn't need investors, and therefore anybody that I guess you would gather to be part of this workspace, this team, would have enough money to fund their life. And does that cut out like really young people? Maybe. Right? I don't want to do that though, because I think it'd be a great opportunity for people. And find like young geeks, because I've hired and fired a lot of geeks and hired more than I fired. And I would want to have a more extensive interview process because you're not just hiring them to do a job, you're hiring them also to live with. And so when you talk about cultural fit, you want them to be cool people to be around. That'd be a tricky hiring process. And of course, somebody might come in with their own idea of what they want to develop, and they would sell themselves with the spec to come in, and they would then lead that team, or they could play an individual role within the team, whatever. But like, I've got these ideas for things I think would be very useful and profitable, and other people could come in with their own ideas, and then we would try and hire people who had the right coding skills, the right technologies. And there's a couple platforms I can imagine that are really useful, like the Unity game engine's pretty cool. I've never developed anything for it, but I see it gets used for not just games. It gets used for all sorts of shit. I saw a discussion website that was built in Unity, and it seems like, well, a lot of shit to figure out.